welcome back to Closing Shift, the most high energy podcast on the planet. We have the most energy, raising that power bill. Welcome back. I am your host, Emmy. That is your other host, Mia.
Hey, how you doing?
We are from super separate parts of the country of the United States of America.
We are from Kansas.
And we are back for another week, episode number 39, the Burger King foot lettuce special. It's my week to open with an inquiry for my co-host, Mia.
Hit me with that query.
And this was unfortunately, this is the first time in a couple weeks I didn't come up with it ahead of time, but came up with this right before the show. So my question is, who are your top 3 dream guests for this show, and why do you want to bring them on? What would you want to talk to them about? And there's a catch that you cannot pick 2 people from the same field. So you can't pick 2 wrestlers or 2 musicians. You can only pick one of each, like that. So who's your 3 dream babies to bring on the show?
I would say, if you said they can't be from the same field, I was going to say Abraham Lincoln, Robert E. Lee, and George Wilkes Booth. Future Mirror here. I don't know why I said George. His name is John. It's not George. It's John. It's fucking John. And just bring them all on, and it'll be like a Jubilee video.
What?
Can one president out-debate these 2 Confederates?
Is that your answer?
I mean, I don't really have much of an answer. I don't know. That's just joking, but
I was expecting you to say Randy Orton because of the Elden Ring thing.
I would love to talk to Randy Orton about Elden Ring. That would be absolutely ideal.
Hey folks, how about you boost those numbers? Maybe we can get some voices going on this podcast.
I mean, I should just try shooting him a DM, because he does sometimes respond to people on Twitter, and maybe I could get the answer back. But I mean, there's a high likelihood that I shoot him that message and he's just like, dude, I haven't played that in a fucking year.
And he blocks you.
You want to boot up the game, re-download it, and go check my build for you?
Yes. That's exactly what I want to do.
Yes, Mr. Orton.
Yes, Mr. Keith Orton. Also, we will leave the link to the playlist we're listening to today in the description. I know we haven't done that in a few weeks. Because we haven't been listening to the music. We haven't been hiding any playlists from you guys. We just haven't been listening to music because we forgot. But yeah, welcome back. How was your previous week to this episode?
I've had a pretty good week.
That's good.
I didn't get to catch up on any more Twin Peaks. I intended to watch some of it, but I ended up not watching any more Twin Peaks. Last episode I watched that was episode 4. So yeah. I still gotta watch a bit more of that.
Gotta love some pin tweaks.
Peak Twinks.
Yeah, exactly.
So I intended to watch more of that, but instead my week was spent doing other stuff that I didn't expect to be doing, but I ended up doing nonetheless, and I ended up making for a better week in long-term goal type of things, because I got 2 highlight videos done in the past week.
I saw that.
It's absolutely a massive thing for me, because my brain works hang on, there's a fucking garage door opening beneath me. And I'll wait 30 seconds because it's going to come back down.
Well, I'm glad you had a good week, as opposed to when I asked you last week, you were like, I had a terrible week. Why don't you guys, while you're waiting, go ahead and head over to that coffee link and help us out. Help us make WrestleMania 41. Give us your money.
Okay, now it's done.
I could have learned how to suck my own dick in that time. Good God.
Yeah, well, my fucking family members, I guess, take a long-ass time to back in and out of the garage, so.
Maybe they should up their depth perception stats.
Depth perception.
You know what I meant.
But yeah, getting 2 highlights done in the past week is an absolutely massive thing for me, because I go in between different phases of editing, where sometimes I get into a little kick of it, where I can get some stuff done for a little bit, but most of the time it's just a complete my brain doesn't want to do it. It's the thing with ADHD. You can't choose what your brain is going to put motivation toward, and it is the typical thing for the neurotypical brain that if you want to get something done that is going to be a difficult task, your brain preemptively releases an amount of dopamine to keep you motivated to actually do the thing. But that's not how it works with ADHD. That you have to start doing the thing and just power through with no fucking oil on the gears up until the point that the dopamine gets released, at whatever point that may or may not happen. So you're just like an overheating engine for the first however long you're doing it until your brain finally catches up to the program. Thankfully, I caught just a really good cycle in this past week where my brain was just like, we're just gonna do this, dopamine for all. And so I got shit done. I mean, compared to the past year, on average, the one thing I get done a week, like guaranteed, is editing Closing Shift. And that's like a good couple hours that takes to do that. And that's usually as much motivation as my brain can muster to do any amount of editing. So getting 2 full highlights, which take those take entire days in and of themselves just to edit like one of those. So being able to get 2 of them is absolutely unheard of for me. So I hope that I can keep some amount of momentum with it. I'm really happy that I was able to actually do it. So that's why my week's been pretty good.
Please enjoy our on-screen presentation on what you don't know about ADHD. I'm just kidding. I'm not putting that shit on the screen.
I was saying that like the way it feels with ADHD depression of trying to like stay consistent in any manner like this, with any activity that I want to do, I want to stay consistent with. The way that it feels is like in Critical Role when Grog temporarily got like a boost to his intelligence, and he like, while he was smarter for a couple hours, tried to learn how to spell his own name and was able to do that after a while, but then as the intelligence faded off, he couldn't remember it anymore. So all the effort was just like for nothing. That's what it feels like. It's like the intelligence comes in for a moment, I get to start working on the task, and then it fades away, and I don't even remember how I did it.
When you hit 1 million subscribers and then forget your login. Basically the same thing.
So that's where I've been at. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good in terms of the general sense. I have not been having a fun time trying to sleep every night this week. Not doing well in that department, but I'm making it work. I mean, I've been using the time that I can't sleep to just hang out with my cats or hang out with our friends in the friend Discord, just like chill. That entire friend group, including me, has been playing web fishing, which if you don't know is a game on Steam that is like a chill, just like fishing sim kind of thing. I mean, it's exactly the kind of game you expect it is.
Fishing sim with like Animal Crossing looking characters.
And overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. Like, it's just one of those games. It's one of those chill games that people revolve around.
All about online functionality, good amount of like unlocks and fun stuff to do around.
Yes, it's very fun. But for the last like 12-ish hours, that's what I've been doing mostly. Closer to like 16 hours.
Just fishing.
But yeah, no, I'm doing fine. I mean, I had work all week. Work gives me something to do. That's what I like about it. Besides, obviously, the money. I also like that. I haven't done too much. Before web fishing was what I kind of got around to yesterday. I was been playing Link's Awakening on the Switch all week because I've went back and finished Breath of the Wild recently, which I think I mentioned before.
Yep, last week.
And yep, last week, roll the tape, me saying that?
Yep, roll the tape last week, talking about Breath of the Wild and how your intentions were to go play Link's Awakening.
Yeah, so I started Link's Awakening. I am like almost halfway through it, I think. I almost have half of the Windfish instruments, so I think I'm almost halfway through it. Not sure if that's how it works, but I've made a good deal of progress. I've been actually bringing it to work and playing it, and it's a great way to spend my 25-minute unpaid break that I have.
Unpaid.
Is just to put my fucking Switch on the table and bust out some Zelda dungeon stuff. But it's nice. It's a cute little game.
Busting a Zelda nut.
I don't have a Zelda game to go to after at the moment, but I plan on changing that when I have some money soon.
You said last week that you may end up doing the voucher to get Tears of the Kingdom and another game.
Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom, but I am most certainly not doing that this time I get paid.
Yeah.
I don't even close to have enough money already. I already know where like most of my money's going, which is bills, for the record. I had to pay a little less last time because Bad Blood kind of drained me. So I'm compensating for that lack of last payment for this payment, which is fine because I've done that before.
Now, I did mention when we were talking about Tears of the Kingdom briefly last week that I wanted to like try and relearn some of the stuff and like sort of regain some of that momentum for when I do a replay and see like what stuff still works and everything. I found that a lot of my favorite bugs and glitches and fun little exploits to do, most of them don't work anymore. Like being able to like whatever it's called. Like you like would fuse an item to a shield while switching it, and then you could have it on two things, and it would have a lot of weird properties. That was one of my favorite things to do, but that got patched out probably forever ago. So that's unfortunate. Some of my more favorite like fucking around things did get patched out, but I did go test my one door skip, and it still works. The door skip that I discovered. So excited to actually try that in a run and see what happens.
Nah, I can skip the door and you can't. Fuck y'all.
I get to skip a quest that I actually like doing, so I don't know why I'd skip it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually do have Switch games I would like to move to, including Undertale, after I do Link's Awakening. I also want to reestablish my Switch Online subscription and play the older Zelda games, mostly A Link to the Past.
I would say don't bother with, like, unless you want to play it on the Switch, don't bother with the subscription for those.
I do want to play it on the Switch.
That's why you gotta get it. You gotta get a DS.
I know what you're... it's easier for me to get the Switch thing than it is to get a DS. I'm not going to buy a DS just for that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I am a woman that needs convenience, and that is convenient. And I also make enough money to pay for that, so... Pay for 1 year of that.
What is more convenient than what fits in your pocket?
A Switch that I can carry around with a case that's just as easy to carry around.
A Switch is not as easy to carry as a DS.
I mean, it doesn't literally fit in your pocket, but it's not that. I can fit it in my bag. I can fit it in my little backpack I bring to work.
My little backpack. Man, when are we getting Switch 2 news?
I don't know, man. I want some new console news. But at the same time, I kind of don't. I'm kind of afraid the Switch will get washed out by the time I get to enjoying most of the games. So I'm trying to play so many of them now.
I don't know. I mean, it's insane that, like, we are at the very end of the Nintendo Switch's lifespan, and still here at the very end of the lifespan, we are getting, like, we just got a new mainline Mario last year. We're getting Mario Brothership, and we just had Mario Party Jamboree. It's like, this is, like, quite a swan song for this console.
I don't know what their plan is for it. I hardly have time to even think about it because I'm too busy working and trying to sleep, and also fucking bitches and making lots of money.
Too busy fucking bitches and being a fucking bitch.
Hey, I'm not a bitch because I want to be, okay? It's just I'm doing God's work.
You don't choose the bitch life. The bitch life chooses you.
He needs a soldier down here, and I embody him through me.
Holy shit, how long has it been since I've thought of the words thug life?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking about it until you just said it.
That's what I was saying, but like the bitch life doesn't choose you.
The bug life.
Bug's life?
A bug's life doesn't choose. You don't choose a bug's life, it chooses you.
I got on a bit of a Smosh kick again recently. Bit of Smosh, bit of GMM, and I watched like Ian and Anthony interviewing Rhett and Link, watching like some of their older things, like their oldest videos, which did put back in my mind, nope, Chuck Testa. Good times. A lot of I've been on GMM for like ever, because they were a good safe option for good safe Christian children. And now they're doing Good Mythical Evening, and I shared you a screenshot of some of their activities on there.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to haunt our listeners with this image. TBH.
No, you should. I don't think we should show this image.
It's terrible. Just know it's terrible.
Rhett is a wolf man in a glory hole.
Yeah. That's about all you need
to know. You can imagine who's on the other side of the glory hole looking like a Starian.
We'll protect all your pretty little eyes and pretty little ears from further description and also the visual. Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, I thought of this earlier when you were talking about like indecisiveness with ADHD. It's like, I have I'm not like making it a competition. When I think of it, it made me think about like,
my brain works less than yours.
Yep, that's right. Loser. I have like having like bipolar disorder and ADHD. Those two as a tag team conflict like it's a handicap match against my OCD, because my OCD needs like order and organization, but those parts of my brain don't know what to do ever. So I'm just like scrambling for something to do if I don't have anything to do. It's a nightmare. Like sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything, but I have to, because if I just sit and think about how I don't want to do anything, I'll just want to die. I'll just sit there and be miserable. It's awful. Bipolar disorder really fucked me up for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of times it just feels like just kind of like rotting with it, of just like, well, I need to do something, but my brain doesn't want to do anything. So you're just kind of there like you're revving your engine in neutral.
No, yeah, it's awful.
I do have an update, and I guess next week I'll have an update as well. I have an appointment in a couple days for starting to get back on ADHD medication and antidepressants because I haven't been on them in a year.
Hey.
So have that appointment in a couple days, and I guess I'll give you an update next week on how all that goes because hopefully I can get back on my medications.
More like W shift.
God damn, it is just a pain in the ass to deal with like any of those prescriptions. I went through a whole tangent of it like a year ago of why you'd understand why I'm not on them now because of just how much of a nightmare it was to like handle supply issues and insurance, and all of it was just the worst.
Right.
So here's round 2 coming up.
Yuck that. We'll see where it goes. Tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Will Mia die? Tune in next week to see if there's a co-host.
Will I get my stimulants?
Yeah, I guess I can give a little update a month and some change into I'll be pretty close to approaching 2 months of HRT by the time this comes out, but
woohoo!
It's going really well. I'm seeing and feeling a lot of cool changes physically, emotionally, mentally. It feels nice to just feel like a woman when you are one. It's interesting. It's very different. A lot of femininity has to be forced when you don't have estrogen being fueled into your body. Like you're going through female puberty of like a teenager in your mid-20s. It's interesting. It's fun though. It's fun to watch it all happen. Being more emotional is hard. It really takes something to bring it out of me, but like the other day I just was like so upset that I couldn't stop being upset.
Certified woman moment.
It really was. It was just, I was hella emotional.
You know, something that made me emotional yesterday. I have witnessed the game Mouthwashing, which I'd been keeping up with for about a year. I played How Fisher Made, which is a teaser game for Mouthwashing. And then I saw the end of that, I was like, oh, Mouthwashing. Okay, that sounds interesting. I played the demo for that as well, and I was like, man, this is like, there's something really cool and really interesting happening here. For how little they gave away in the demo, I was like, there's something really interesting happening here. And now the full game is out, and it's about a 2-hour game. It's like perfect length for the story that it tells. It is like a 10 out of 10 game. It is psychological horror to its like greatest definition. It is like I would say like the story experience, the cinematic experience of Mouthwashing is akin to like Alien or like The Shining. It's like on that level of just being like a mind-blowing experience. It's an incredible ride. I think that if you have the means to play it, play it. If you don't have the means to play it, at least watch somebody else play it. And let that be somebody that you know takes like certain sensitive topics seriously, because the game is like very heavy. It is a very heavy story, but it is unimaginable how good it is.
I also, before you just said all that, I thought you said, you want to know what made me upset? I don't remember what you actually...
I said emotional.
Okay, because I thought you said upset, and I was like, this doesn't make sense at all.
That's that 2 hours of sleep coming in for you.
I must have been like, well, yeah, after a certain point, I was like, oh, that's probably not what she said. But whatever. Fuck you, because I have insomnia. I can't help it. You want to fight? You want to fight about it?
What, you want to fucking fight? I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out right now. Please do.
I'll knock you out with my lips. I'll kiss you so hard.
I feel like that would be like a manga adapted into like a 1-season anime. Would be like about a boxer with insomnia who tries to get knocked out because he can't sleep and he wants somebody to knock him out so he can get a night's rest, but he keeps winning on accident.
You should just write a letter to fucking Shonen Jump. Just like, dear Shonen Jump,
I've got a show for you.
I came up with the best idea ever.
It will promote brain damage like we've never seen before.
You'll be fucking nutting all over your studio watching this. What's your favorite movie?
I don't know. I don't really have favorites.
Oh, that's a fun answer.
Wow, way to yes and.
Way to no but. Oh no, I fucked it up.
Oh my god. The memories of Big Wow Big, they're slipping away.
Oh no. 2 hours of sleep equals 2 memories gone. I meant 2 years of memories gone. Just only 2 memories. a memory for each hour. Yeah, in case y'all didn't pick up on it or I didn't say it because I didn't get enough sleep to remember if I said it. I only got 2 hours of sleep last night. It was tough. I've had a thing all week where instead of sleeping, my leg just has like a ton of energy surging through it, and it's really uncomfortable. Like my leg like wants to twitch all night. I don't like it. It wants to Twitch stream, and I'm like, no, it's time to turn the computer off and go to bed. It's just like Cosmic Emerald leg. That's it. Just my leg playing games. What if like that was your Discord reactive picture? Was just like not talking was your bare leg, and then it just puts a pant leg on the leg to if you're talking.
That'd be interesting.
That's just funny to me. The idea. No butt included in the image.
You know, I'm just now remembering that there was another segment that I came up with that I wanted to prepare for, but I forgot to actually prepare it for this week. And I would have done that instead, but I forgot about that segment entirely. So now we have our usual regular segment.
Oh my glob.
This, I've come up with a proper title for this segment, although it doesn't even apply for today. This segment is called Save the Date. This is where I will read an article from an old-ass newspaper on the Library of Congress to my good friend Emmy, who is going to have to guess typically the date of publication of the paper. But I'm mixing things up here a little bit today, because this is just something that I happened across that I figured this would be decent, but there's no way that you'd be able to get a date from it. So instead, we're doing things a little bit differently now. I am not going to read the first paragraph of this article until the very end. We are going to go from the second paragraph onward, and it is going to be Emmy's job to guess what is the contents of the first paragraph. What is this article actually about? Emmy, are you ready?
I'm about as ready as I physically can be, yeah.
All right, starting from,
it's gonna be great.
There's actually like a second pseudo like title like header in here. So we'll start from there. By Rob J. Culverwell, MD, author of the, quote, Green Book, unquote. The world-renowned author in this admirable lecture clearly proves from his own experience that the awful consequences of self-abuse may be effectually removed without medicine and without dangerous surgical operations, bougies, instruments, rings, or cordials, pointing out a mode of cure at once certain and effectual, by which every sufferer, no matter what his condition may be, may cure himself cheaply, privately, and radically. This lecture will prove a boon to thousands and thousands. All right, so that is the second half of this. I can reread that for you if needed. But what is this advertising? What is this cure for?
Am I allowed to know what a boon is? I don't know what that is.
A boon is just like, it's a really good thing to receive. Like if you were to receive like a gift from the gods, you would call it a boon.
Well, that's a funny word for that.
It's like, I think it's like a word that's a little bit more in fashion now again because of
boons, tower defense.
That's in the game Hades. When you receive upgrades from the gods as you go through, they're called boons. So I think a lot of people are more aware of the term these days.
I would look so less foolish if only I had played Hades before this.
If only I played Hades. I mean, it's not really used much outside of like that kind of context. Unless you want to be really self-aggrandizing.
I know it's not, because I talk to people all the time and I've never heard that word.
I've realized like day to day, like half of the vocabulary I use when just talking about things is not just like how a normal person would say a thing. I think I use phrases that nobody would use outside of like 1950 or like a textbook.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, it's just like the first place that my brain goes. And then it's like, oh, that doesn't actually like make sense to anybody.
The only thing older than the games I'm interested in is your vocabulary. I'm like a grandma, but you're like an older grandma. I don't know. My first thought is being gay. I don't know if that's like really it. It sounds
Oh,
old.
I forgot. I was going to give the date of publication.
Oh, that's true.
As a part of like, because it's not a factor of this. And I'll also give the paper and the date, since those are both irrelevant things at the moment. This is the Wood County Reporter, the June 8th, 1861 edition.
Oh my God.
So I'll let you know now, 1861, they weren't talking about the gays then. Not really. It wasn't like the way it was in like the 50s.
They're talking about a cure that men can perform on themselves without any surgery or medicine. My second thought is an addiction to masturbating. I don't know if that's it. I'm assuming it's not cigarettes. I don't know if cigarettes existed when that was happening. But I would assume it's something that nobody would give a shit about today.
I will say you're pretty dang close. You want to lock in a final answer?
I don't know. If I were gonna lock in an answer now, I would say JO addictions. I'm assuming like an epidemic is breaking out of men who can't stop jerking their cocks.
You know what? I'll go ahead and give you points for that. I'll give you some points on that.
Oh.
That is a close enough answer.
Surprising.
Let me read you the first paragraph of this and the header. Manhood, how lost, how restored. Just published in a sealed envelope. On the nature, treatment, and radical cure of spermaturia or seminal weakness, sexual debility, nervousness, and involuntary emissions, inducing impotency and mental and physical incapacity. So basically, this guy wants you to attend his lecture on why jerking off makes your dick not work. And in case you are curious, spermaturia is a condition of excessive involuntary seminal discharge. And so that's what that means in the second paragraph, where he says, he clearly proves from his own experience that the awful consequences of self-abuse may be effectually removed without medicine. So dude's self-reporting, he's like, I jerked off so much my dick stopped working right, and I became impotent and couldn't get my dick up, and also came too much. Here's how you can fix that. If you, like me, also jerk off too much.
Well, good on me, I guess.
It's all about that seminal weakness.
That's a win, I guess. I'm not gonna say what I thought, because you're gonna say the thing, and I don't want you to say the thing.
Do it. Lay me up for it.
No, I'm not going to.
Do it.
I played the game and I won.
Time to play the game.
I will shoot you in the fucking face right now.
Emmy is very sick of that meme, but it has become a brain rot for me, and I can't stop saying it.
I'm trying to shut it down.
I'm annoying her as much with it now with this as I was a couple weeks ago, where I would just go.
That didn't annoy me, though.
I think it did, though. At one point, you were like, can you stop?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That is funny, though. I probably did, because I'm a huge weenus.
Huge weenus. Also, I have a secondary advertisement from this same paper.
Oh, my God.
That I'm not going to read this out, but the just notable in this same paper, I don't think it's the same page. I think they're one page apart. But the same paper, there's an advertisement that uses the word Rizz. Let me send that your way.
Yes, you did tell me about that.
The Evanic Order on the Rizz. Awful avalanche of new goods. Again, this is a paper from 1861 using the word Rizz.
Oh, it's 1Z. What did that mean?
Not in the context we use it today.
Yeah, what did that mean to them?
I don't even know. I feel like it'd be hard to look up at this point.
I don't even know what Evanic means.
Oh, I see. It's like, oh wait, no, that's like, Google's like trying to put up like other results. Let's see.
I hate old people.
I can't even like find this because it keeps trying to like.
What the fuck were they even talking about?
It keeps trying to find like things of like putting on the Ritz.
Oh yeah. You think it was a typo in the paper and it was supposed to be that?
Oh, I see. Okay, so R-I-Z, Rizz, was used as a dialectal past tense of rise. So now we would say risen.
My fucking ass.
So it's like, instead of saying risen, it's a shortened version of just saying it is Rizz.
Give me a fucking break.
So it's like a dialect thing. It's not like, it's more of like a regional, somebody might say that.
Boo.
The way that you would shorten you all to y'all, they would shorten risen to Rizz.
I reject that reality.
I reject your Rizz.
I do not accept.
Unacceptable!
If you have any, what like Zelda game haven't you gone through that you have been like dying to go through, but you can't like afford or just haven't had time to buy it?
The only ones that I haven't gone through are ones that I actually plan to get to here pretty soon. I'm actually going to be doing a Zelda month in November in honor of PBG.
Copycat. Copy pasta.
In honor of my youth. There's just a couple Zelda games that I was like, man, I want to get around to these eventually. And I was like, you know what? I remember Zelda month being like a really fun time in my life I used to look forward to every year with PBG. And now I haven't like thought about that in a few years, but if I'm going to do like a few Zelda games back to back, I might as well do them in November.
This year we're doing Zelda Miss.
So I'm going to be doing Majora's Mask as like one guaranteed. And then beyond that, I think if I have the time for it, I'll start replaying Tears of the Kingdom. But there are like a couple other, like maybe some of the I think I wanted to get around to Spirit Tracks again, so that might be on the docket as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to on the Zelda side of things. And also, I was mentioning this to Emmy before, but there is a new randomizer. I saw this from a Majin Phil video, that there is now a randomizer that combines Ocarina of Time and Dark Souls 3. It works the way that a normal co-op randomizer would work, and kind of similar to how the Link to the Past Super Metroid randomizer works, where the items are spread between the two games. So you could find like the Varia suit in Kakariko Village, something like that. It's like that, but for Dark Souls 3 and Ocarina of Time. And I really want to find an Ocarina of Time speedrunner to do it with.
I don't know, so I don't want to like presume, but I would assume it would be a deal breaker for you getting into a relationship with somebody or having them as a partner if they wouldn't play that with you.
Oh, they don't have to play it with me. They just have to. See, this is the thing. They don't have to play Dark Souls. They don't have to be into it. But they do, in fact, have to listen to me talk about the lore.
But they have to play Ocarina of Time.
That is the bare minimum. They have to I have to be able to talk about Dark Souls. Whether or not they get involved in the conversation is another thing. But I need to like have that in my life.
It's a good thing our relationship started off professional from the get-go, because I do not enjoy. I mean, like I can listen to my partner ramble about shit I don't really know a lot about, but like I know enough about Dark Souls that I don't want to know any more about it. It's like, I don't know. That depends in an actual scenario like that than just like hearing you say I want to talk about Dark Souls lore. Because I know you like that.
I think Dark Souls lore gets bitches. I haven't found the bitches yet. In fact, I would be the bitch.
They're out there somewhere.
That's the thing. Just if you know any amount about like Dark Souls lore, Elden Ring lore, all these themes within the work of Miyazaki, you're gonna get on my good side pretty quick.
Drop your number in a coffee donation.
Please don't.
Don't actually do that.
But
don't give us your personal info unless you want to.
If you are somebody who is interested in not just the gameplay elements, but also the story and lore and deeper themes of the Souls series, get in touch.
You should write like a Soulsography and then like do a whole ass like audiobook of it on your channel.
What just like going through all the lore?
Yeah, just like talk about the lore and why you love it.
Oh, there's people who know way
know.
more than me who have done that 1,000 times better.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like write how you would tell it so you can talk about it later.
The way that I talk about anything, if I were to like describe the lore of Dark Souls, the way that I talk about anything is that I always work from like I work from the most complicated aspect and then work backwards, which is like just how I do stuff in my brain. And I think about that a lot, that if I ever want to it is a thing that I do, like shower thoughts. And I think I mentioned it here before. It is just a shower thought for me of like I'll think about something in Dark Souls lore, and then I'll think about, well, what else would you need to know to understand that piece of lore? What would you need to know to understand that piece of lore? Working backwards until you reach a point of like full understanding of the initial concept.
That's interesting because I don't have shower thoughts. My shower thoughts are like rose petals falling off of skeletons. I'm a shower listener of music and or podcasts.
Let us know in the comments whether or not you have the same brain disease as me, and you spend an awful amount of time thinking backwards from one concept and then thinking back to whatever concepts connect to it. Like you're talking to an alien who doesn't understand what the concept is, and you have to explain every other leading up concept.
Let us know in the comments how many times you've listened to Closing Shift in the shower. That was my first thought when you said that. Oh boy, yeah. We do have all those holidays coming up, you know. This will be our first episode in November when this comes out.
Yeah, it will be. By the time this comes out, Halloween will have came and passed.
Happy November.
November.
And then we got November to get through. No nut, apparently. And then Thanksgiving, and then pretty much the entire month of December will be Christmas.
I mean, Christmas is already starting to show its head.
Surrounded by my family's birthdays, including mine.
I don't even know, other than like maybe doing Buckshot multiplayer if I can get people together for it. I don't really know what I got going on for like Halloween this year. Because again, I don't have any decorations put out. I haven't done much that's in the spirit of the season. I did have a nice hot cup of apple cider the other day, and that was nice. That's some nice fall vibe stuff.
True.
I don't know. It's so hard to like celebrate things these days because like, what do? I guess I'm watching Twin Peaks, and that's like in general pretty good like fall vibes around October. But other than that, it's not really a lot else that I've got going on that's like festive.
Dang.
I'm playing a bunch of Resident Evils. That's kind of it.
That's so sad.
There's so many things that you can do for like a fall festivity thing for around the time of Halloween, but it's like you really age out of a lot of those things. And especially if you don't really have like any sort of like good means of doing them socially, then it's just not worth doing. Like, of course, like doing stuff like dressing up for Halloween or like carving pumpkins and like going to a pumpkin patch, all that kind of stuff is like, if you're just kind of like doing it for your own amusement, it doesn't really have the same like kick to it. So it's just like whatever.
Yeah, celebrating any holiday alone is hard. A lot of adults find ways and create ways to celebrate instead of like, because you only grow out of the stuff that literally only children can get away with because adults can't trick or treat. That would be super weird. But there's costume parties or whatever, like you said, just dressing up. You could like do a horror game marathon on Twitch while you're dressed up or whatever. Or if you're a VTuber, just do a spooky model.
That's what I've been doing Silent Hills and Resident Evils for all October.
As if you needed October to do that.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I like to save that for like the same way that I save January for doing all my Souls replays. I save October for all my horror game replays.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying.
I hit Souls in January, Resident Evil in October. I keep it like pretty well organized like that.
Right. I mean, I would have been a lot more into that if I was still making content on the caliber I was like a year or two ago, but I just don't. I usually just do stuff either with my family or just my sister who I live with or just whoever the fuck wants to do something. Sometimes it's with the people online that I know. I have had partners during the holidays before, and I really like doing holiday couple stuff, but I haven't had that with somebody cool in a while. So we'll see. I don't know.
That's going to be the hardest thing if I want to try and maintain any kind of motivation of like still getting highlight videos done and like keeping up with the level of like productivity going through the holiday season. It is the hardest thing to have to fight. That every time around the holiday season, once we start getting into like October through December, that's when my brain goes super into like cuffing season mode. And it becomes like, it's the only time of year where it's ever a thought on my mind of just like, oh yeah, that's like one of those like having a partner is one of those things that you can just like do, huh? It's like one of those things you can pursue. So it's like the one time a year that it actually comes back into my brain. And I'm like, no, beat it back with a stick. I got shit to do.
I usually establish if I try to get into a relationship, it's like a deal breaker for me personally. If like the guy who I'm dating can't like, we can't like respect each other's like space and understand that we're independent people. Because I've had that before and it's chill. But you gotta be like chill. You gotta let me do my like cosmic emerald thing. Okay. And like not invade my space.
Gotta chill the heck out.
And I'll let you do whatever the fuck you do. That's so cool. No problem.
We're just all about chill vibes.
I haven't really been able to do any fall couple stuff since I was like a teenager and a guy and dating girls. So I haven't really had the experience like that with myself, my actual self, but I hope to sometime in the coming years. I would like to have a long-term partner by the time I'm 30 at least. I do kind of thrive on romance more so than I actually seek it, but sometimes I'll try.
You see, I try and like conceptualize any level of that, but the fact that like I don't even like socialize much these days is just like, yeah, that's not even gonna happen.
No, I would be impressed if it did, just because I know you.
I'm in a constant contention of like, oh, that'd be like a nice thing to have. And also just like, well, I'm not going to send a fucking message to a person I want to talk to. I'm just going to keep doing my own thing in my own lane and never reach out to anybody ever.
Yeah, sounds really fun.
It's awesome. Except it's not always awesome, but it's awesome.
Yeah. I try to reach out as much as I can. On these nights where I couldn't sleep recently, I was like, well, if I have energy, I'm like, let's see what the friends are up to. Because I often look at the call and I'm like, that's too many people doing too many different things. I'm not joining that shit. But I already met a point of contention with that group and left to figure out why I was feeling like that. And then I came back a couple months later. So it's chill now. It's all chill. It's so chill.
I just go in and I check in like every 2 months.
Yes, me as like Santa. Christmas was every like 2 months to the server. Just pops in down the VC chimney.
I've still got a lot of that I'm trying to like work through. That like the way like my brain has been completely pushed away from like any intention of socializing over the past couple years. Because I did have like a really like horrible time that like ended up like not with this group.
Yeah. What other people did to you?
I had some stuff happen that like really messed with my brain for a really long time and had me like for a solid year, I just didn't talk to anybody because it was just like a million warning signs and like alarms went off in my brain for that entire category of like activity of like socializing.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe playing web fishing will help with that.
Playing web fishing fucks. Web fishing is awesome. We were both gifted the game this week.
Yes.
It's very chill. Been playing it. Like I said, I was like doing so much Link's Awakening all week, and then web fishing was like a brick wall that my Link's Awakening playthrough hit. I was like, no, I need to web fish. I'm stopping everything Zelda.
I have to catch fish. I really want an actual fish. If I just had I don't have space for it in here. Actually, I probably could make space somewhere, but I do quite want a fish. But it would be so hard to actually care for a fish out here because of how hot it gets. But I've wanted one for so long.
Just keep it in the mini fridge. Just put a tank in the top half of the mini fridge. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Be like, you get in there? Fish can live below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Oh yeah, little mini fridge update. It's been working pretty good. It's working well. I'm having the problem though that since you can't set a like actual like integer temperature, it only works from a like range of like minimum, medium, max. And it goes beyond max, by the way. Wow. Since there isn't like an actual way, like I don't know if it has any means of like internal regulation of like knowing how cold it is in there. I strongly doubt it. I think it is just like when you change the dial, it just changes how often it runs and how long between cycles. I think is all that changes. So I have had the problem recently where it's like it gets warmer during the day and I wish it would be more active during the day because of that. Because when it runs at night at the same cycle it's running during the daytime, it's way colder at night. And I ended up accidentally like freezing some drinks in the fridge section of it, not the freezer part. It's like, well, gotta figure that out. Like where the perfect sweet spot is of this thing, that it's not like freezing when the temperature drops at night, but also like actually maintaining a food safe temperature during the day.
Right.
It's tricky.
Yeah, mine I can set it by the number, and that is nice. I just have your standard Insignia brand little mini fridge with a see-through door and all.
Mine is an Arctic King. Yours actually has like a thermometer on it. You can like set the temperature.
Yes, that is what I was just saying. It is convenient.
But mine has a little freezer compartment.
My mini fridge could totally freeze better than your mini fridge.
I have had the problem with this mini fridge now that it's like trying to figure out what things I do actually want to put in it. Because there are like certain things like I keep like cheese sticks in there just for like a nice like little snack. Just some Kobe Jack cheese sticks. And also my sandwiches. I'm no longer doing as much prep for my morning sandwiches because having the mini fridge makes me want to keep things in it. And so if I'm going to be keeping cold sandwiches in the fridge, it works a lot better the way that I've been making them to like, I just toast the bread and then I just put all the ingredients I want on that and then wrap it up and that just goes in for cold. And so making sandwiches with the intention of them being immediately put into the fridge after does change my priorities of my morning sandwich. So now I like can have a little stockpile of them just ever available.
Yeah, that's nice.
And they've been, tell you what, that fucking sauce that I've been making for them. Oh, beautiful. Give it up, baby.
Teo, how you do that?
If anybody wants to know what it's about, it's about, I would say it's, how would I even break this down? If it's like 1 tablespoon of mayo, then it's like a 1/4 tablespoon of mustard, and then a sprinkle of paprika and a sprinkle of cumin. Paprika. And that makes like a very good sauce, not just for sandwiches, but also I used it for like, I fried chicken recently. I fried so much chicken recently. I guess that probably happened between the last episodes of this. I fried like fucking
so much fucking chicken.
I fried like 8 fucking pounds of chicken breast, and it was damn good. I fry a damn good chicken. Because that's the rest. I think I talked about it like a couple months ago, that recipe that like my mom wanted me to make, but there wasn't, It was just a list of ingredients with no determination of how much to use of each ingredient. It just listed what was used, but not how much of anything.
You should kill her.
So I basically had to reconstruct the recipe based on that list. And so I basically now just have my own version because it's like my own mixture of however much I want for it.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom right quick while you break this down.
And so I made that mixture, and then I was like, is this good? Is this close to like how it was, the chicken that you had that you wanted me to replicate based on these ingredients? And turns out that my mom had not actually had it either. The only person who had that chicken was my dad. But my dad says that the chicken is pretty close to how that chicken was. I have not tasted the original recipe for myself to even know what was going on with it. I just had to make up my own shit based on the ingredients of like, yeah, this seems like it would be fine here. Put like a fuck ton of Lawry's in it. that'll be fine. Fuck ton of Lawry's, fuck ton of garlic. And it's good. It is a real problem though, trying to fry chicken when you do not have proper frying equipment. Because depending on what size pan or what size whatever, like pot, whatever you're like trying to fry something in, if you're not doing like a pan fry, you have to fill up like a not water level, but like a certain level of like the oil that it's going to be cooked in. So for most of it, I was cooking it in the butter flavored Crisco, because that's what the recipe called for. That's what was used for that. That had the problem where after that overheats a bit, that Crisco, it develops an insane foam. Like all of the Crisco just turns into a foam after an amount of time. So you can only get so much mileage out of frying in it. And also because it's like, you have to use a certain amount of like, whatever your cooking liquid of choice is going to be for it to be like submergible. Depending on what size of pot you're using is how much of that you're going to have to use to create that water level. So doing that for like the most part, trying to not use a shit ton of like oil and Crisco and like everything, meant doing it in a smaller pot. But using the smaller pot means that it takes absolutely fucking forever because you can only get like 2 or 3 pieces of chicken done at a time. And so I ended up like frying chicken for like almost 3 hours. After I got all the chicken cut up, I was then frying it for like 3 hours, and I had to go into the next morning. Like I stopped frying chicken at like 10 p.m. and then I woke up at 9:30 and started frying chicken again. Except that time I got a much bigger pot. I was like, fuck it. This is going to take 1,000 goddamn years if I keep doing it in this size pot. I don't care how much oil it wastes by doing it in a pot this big. I'm not spending another 2 hours frying chicken. Got a much, much bigger pot. Filled that bitch up with a couple inches of vegetable oil and just got the rest of those little things done. And it was like night and day difference between how long each of those batches took. And that is going to be my mentality going forward with it now. Whenever I fry chicken, it's just like, fuck the amount of oil that you use. There is nothing more irreplaceable than the time that takes. It was insane, but it was really good chicken. And to bring it back to what I was talking about, I made my sauce there, the mayo, mustard, paprika, and cumin sauce for dipping the chicken in, and it was very good.
Sure was.
How long have you been here?
At least 2 minutes.
Oh my God. I was just going off because I thought you were still like waiting for you to come back.
I was just listening. I mean, you were just going to stop in the middle of your story because I showed up?
I wouldn't have expounded on so many details.
Well, why not? You're telling me a VTuber fried this chicken?
The way that I tell a story is depending on how much time I have to tell it. I will prattle your ear off if you say like, tell me this story, but take an hour to do it.
Yap. Get on with it. That's me. That's what people think about me.
Just give me my fried chicken.
Just order fried chicken at a restaurant, but me as your waiter. It's like, oh, you're going to love this chicken. I fried the shit. Like, there's so much fried chicken. I fried the fuck out of every chicken in this restaurant.
I do have a bit of a problem now that my favorite hoodie does smell a little bit like fried chicken because I was wearing it while frying the chicken.
How is that a problem? That's awesome.
Well, it's not the biggest problem, but perhaps it may be a problem because you don't want your clothes to permanently... Because I splashed some of the oil onto the hoodie.
You mean when you go camping next week and all the bears are going to think you're fried chicken?
Yeah, they're going to smell the fucking fried chicken. It's just, I don't want, like... It's my favorite hoodie. I don't want it to be, like, ruined by, like, chicken oil. having like a permanent level of like staining in it, which there doesn't appear to be an actual like outward stain of it, but if there is going to be the smell in there, that tells me there is still a foreign substance in my hoodie that I don't really want there.
Right. That sucks. I hate getting like the worst stains on shit.
What's your favorite foreign substance?
I don't know. Water? Is that an acceptable answer?
I think that's as far from foreign as it gets, actually.
I don't know. Coffee, I guess, then. If that's foreign enough.
Coffee. Foreign enough. Those, I mean, it is, you know, like fermented beans. It goes crazy.
It's just a morning must for me.
You gotta have it.
I have to have it, or I can't fucking do anything.
I'm probably gonna have to cut down. If I do get back on my ADHD medication, I'm gonna have to like start cutting down on my morning cup again, because you know, have the amount of caffeine that you have is like a very detrimental thing.
Yeah, it's not a fun mix.
Tell you what's a bit of a problem is like citrus stuff, which is in like a lot of almost every drink. Like sodas are like so much citrus in like everything. Gotta be careful.
Be careful what you put near your mouth, Joey.
It's one of those things that not a lot of people know as well, is that like antacids can be a problem if you are on like any kind of medication like that. That since they, whatever it's called, the actual substance that makes up an antacid, calcium, carb, something, that like specifically is a really quick absorber of medication and will cause it to absorb into your blood like egregiously quickly. So
yeah,
be careful if you are on like any kind of medication that like if you are taking like an antacid or something like that to like ease your stomach, that you may end up accidentally rapidly absorbing your medication, which can cause a lot of problems because a lot of medications aren't meant to be absorbed into your blood all at once.
You are a psychopath. Please consider consulting your doctor before you drink coffee.
There's like a million things you just gotta be so careful about with like, it's kind of baffling to me that for like a lot of medications, there isn't a very complete list of what you can and cannot have. Because I guess there's just too many products these days to like be able to keep up with everything. But like sometimes there are like interactions with medication that you would not know unless you looked it up specifically.
That's what I was going to say. The best you can do is like the internet.
It's like when you want to give your dog like a little piece of your food and you have to Google real quick, like, oh God, wait, let me make sure this doesn't like kill you. My dog did get fucking spoiled when I was frying the chicken.
Oh yeah.
Because after I had finished frying all the chicken, I dropped like a piece of it, like a whole ass piece of fried fucking chicken. And it's like, well, that's yours now.
I mean, I would have been the dog on the floor for you if I could have got some fried chicken. Yet, damn. I love me some fried chicken. I'm from Georgia. That's our shit out here.
I'm getting better at doing it. I definitely overcooked a few of the pieces, but that's like my second time ever frying chicken, so I think I'm learning pretty dang good. I'm good at breading it. I'm getting good at cooking it. It like was a really daunting thing the first time I did it, and now it's gonna be one of those things that I think I'm just gonna do. Knowing how to fry food will save your life one day.
It'll be all like, "What, you trying to mug me?" Just like the sound of a pot of water boiling. Pot of oil.
Water. Oil. It's all about that oil.
5 bowls of boiling oil.
It's all about the oil. That is my biggest problem, though, of like trying to fry anything, is just that I feel so wasteful using so much like oil.
Nah, who cares?
It's like not the most expensive thing in the world. In fact, far from it. But it still feels like if I'm going to be using like a lot of it, I gotta like that's why like I fried like 8 pounds of chicken all in one go, is because I don't want to waste oil.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? It's not a big deal.
I mean, it would be more of a care if it was like olive oil. Olive oil is like a huge price problem right now because of political reasons that olive oil is in short supply due to the natural resource of it being destroyed in certain regions to choke out people's food supply. So if you've wondered why olive oil is more expensive at the grocery store recently, the answer is not fun. It's that thing you're thinking of.
Be sure to support us on coffee.
So we can buy olive oil.
If you want to either learn something depressing or that you didn't know was going on, or just delete brain cells from your head, listen to Closing Shift, because you'll probably get both most of the time you listen to one episode.
I try and keep politics like decently far away from this, but sometimes when it overlaps.
Oh yeah.
I don't want it to be like a fully separated thing, because you can't just plug your ears and go la 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 la. But it's like we are certainly not good authorities to be like educating on many subjects.
Except for this upcoming election, we will violently advocate. No, I'm kidding.
This is man. So this episode actually does go out like right before the election. I'm pretty sure
That is true.
What
day? I think it's the day before. Isn't it open on November 2nd? Or am I crazy?
So this episode is going to be going up on November 1st.
Yes.
And election day is November 5th. The episode after this one, because we'll record it on the 6th, meaning that we'll have some results.
We will not record it on the 6th. We will record it on the 3rd.
Oh, you're right. The 6th is this month's. The calendar shot itself back to October.
Oh, yeah.
So never mind. It'll actually be like after the next episode that we'll actually know anything. So it'll be like by the time the next episode comes out, everybody else will already know, but that'll be a little time capsule of ignorance.
And depending on who wins, we may be ending the show next week. No, I'm kidding.
It's gonna turn into like what's that public access clip of like, oops, my anarchy symbol.
I don't know. I do not understand that reference.
Most important thing, if we are going to talk about politics at all, I will just say, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not going to tell you what you should vote on certain props, because it is like, if you've seen any of the like advertising for like election stuff this year, you'd know that you've heard the slogan over and over again. Who you vote for is private, whether or not you vote is public. The biggest thing I can advocate for, if you are somebody who is of a legal voting age and legal voting status within the United States, if you are not registered to vote, please register to vote. Half of all of the legal possible voters in the United States do not vote every election. It is the biggest problem that we have, is not just that like, oh, my preferred candidate didn't win. Half of the people that can vote don't. If you want to see any amount of change, it is the bare minimum that you can do every 4 years, or if you want to be more involved, every 2 years for your locals, your primaries. Whatever you want to do, fill in those circles, turn it in, and participate. Half of you don't. It is your one direct pathway to influencing this country. Pick up the pencil and take the opportunity.
Yeah, just go vote.
Vote. For fuck's sake, vote. And especially with the, like, there's been a big campaign in the past year of a lot of anti-voting rhetoric, because people are like, I'm not going to vote because I'll do, like, protesting this and, like, signing these petitions. You can do both of those things, but also vote. Like, just because there are other means of direct action that may be more helpful to your certain issue that you want to support, that doesn't mean that voting isn't still important. And I know for a fact, if you are in any leftist space in the past several months, you have absolutely seen anti-voting rhetoric in those spaces. And that shit is dangerous. That is taking the autonomy out of your hands. Please vote.
I mean, yeah, if you're expecting me to jump in, I mean, that was just all correct. That was just all really good information. Congrats. That was quite a fine speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, but go vote, you fucking bastards. Use your voice and your vote to make this world a better place for us.
Join us next week when we have Kamala Harris on the podcast.
Yes.
The wrestler.
We will be interviewing Kamala and also getting a demonstration of the gun she has in her house.
Thank you for listening to episode 39 of Closing Shift. We hope to see you again at the same time next week.
Bye.